Hi, my name is Alicia, and I would like to show you how to do a movement journal in Microsoft Dynamics D365 Finance and Supply Chain. So today we're going to be talking about what is a movement journal, how do you use a movement journal, and how do you set one up so that the user doesn't have to worry about the GL account. So one of the things to know about a movement journal is when you're working with inventory, there's different types of journals. You can do an inventory adjustment journal, you can do accounting journal, you can do cycle counts, and you can also do movement journals. The big difference about a movement journal is that whenever you create a movement journal, you can tell the system what the offset account is. So that means that whenever you're putting in this journal, instead of it hitting like an inventory adjustment account, you can tell the system, say, hey, I want this to get posted to a scrap account, or to a quality testing account, or to like some other kind of COGS account or cost of goods sold account. And the benefit of that is so that as you're consuming inventory, it's not kind of going into this black hole. It's going to give you the ability to say, hey, I spent X number of dollars on scrap, or I spent X number of dollars on R&D, or X number of dollars on whatever. Because it's important to keep track of the cost of your inventory and where it went. Because typically in most companies, the value of the inventory is a large part of their cost or their assets within there. So it's important to keep track of those. So inside of Dynamics D365 FNSC, you have this beautiful thing called a movement journal. So let me show you what that looks like, and you'll see how easy it is. All right, so the first thing I want to do is we're going to go into inventory management. And once we're here under journal entries, you're going to see it says items and then movement. When you click new, you have the ability to give it a name. In fact, you have to give it a name. So you can set up different names for different types of movement journals. I'm going to actually show you how to set one up so you can see how easy it is and some of the fields that you may want to populate. So I'm going to right mouse click on this down arrow and say view details. You'll notice now I'm in the inventory journal names, and you'll see here this journal type is movement. So I'm going to click new, and I'm going to call it scrap. All right, and again, you do want the type to be movement. The journal type tells the system where this journal name should show up. So that's why when you go into a movement journal, you don't get this whole list of journal names. You only get those that are related to the movement journal. A couple things here, you have your voucher series. So from a finance perspective, when we post this, the system's going to create a debit and a credit GL voucher, right? So if I'm consuming inventory, it's going to be a credit to inventory and a debit to something. And in this particular example, we want the offset or the debit side to be our scrap account. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to look for scrap. All right, so here's our scrap account. But if I was doing this like on a project, I would actually set up a voucher series specific to scrap. So that way when I'm looking at my GL transactions or my GL vouchers, it's very easy to spot those. Something else you're going to notice is you can set up a workflow. So let's say whenever somebody does scrap, or they actually put in, if you have another journal name for sales, so like you're giving goods to a salesperson to take on the road, you may want to keep track of that or have somebody approve that. So in that instance, you could actually set up a workflow. So in this example, we have our name and we have our offset account, and that's all we need. So now we're going to go back here, and now we should see scrap in our list. You can give it a description here if you like. I'm going to go ahead and give it a site and a warehouse. And again, you don't have to do that here. If you do it here, you don't have to do it on every line. It'll default. And then here you're going to notice that offset account is automatically there. And I'm just going to click OK. Now I'm going to click new, and there's my date. So that'll be my GL date. I created an item called tubes, just as an example. Let's see here. So let's say we're going to consume these. So let's say we're going to consume 10 of these. What you'll notice on this particular item, I'm using standard cost, so the cost came across here automatically. So again, as a user or consumer, I'm consuming the goods, all I have to do is give the item code and where I'm pulling it from and the quantity. If this was batch controlled or serial controlled, you'd want to do the dimension display and tell the system which ones you're consuming. And you'll notice that the offset account is our scrap account. So now I'm going to post this, and that's it. So I have now done a movement journal, and if I were to go look at my trial balance, I would be able to see, in fact, if I go up here to view postings, see we have our transactions here, and if I click on ledger, let's see, that one doesn't have it, ledger here. So again, we have our inventory account, and our offset is going to be our scrap account. So that's all there is to it. So the next time you want to consume inventory and you want to know where it goes, if it's not going against a production order, then do a movement journal, and it's very easy. So hope this is helpful.